So today I'll just tell you what to write on if a question comes on Avrana, how to present it. Okay. So in my last class, it was on Vriddhi and Shaya, isn't it? There I explained the concept of Vriddhi as well as Pragopa. Isn't it? You remember? In Vriddhi, Vriddhi has got yet another two forms, that is Chaya as well as Prakopa. So we can say that more or less Vriddhi is nothing but a physiological state. Actually, Vriddhi is needed for the normal functioning of our body, isn't it? But Pragopa is nothing but Unmargagami. Pragopastu Unmargagamida, isn't it? Pragopa is nothing but the aggravated or exacerbated, or we can say Pragopa is nothing but the pathological condition of our body. Now tell me, what are the two reasons for Vata Pragopa? Dadukshaya and Margavaroda. This Margavaroda is nothing but Avarana, and that is why Avarana is explained where? According to Vakpada, it is explained in Vada Shonidadhyaya, but according to Susrutacharya and Charagacharya, where it is explained? It is explained in Vada Vyadhyadhyaya. Now, why do you think Vakpadacharya explained it in the context of Vada Shonida? Well, I leave that question for you. You'll find the answer and tell me, or we'll discuss it at the end. Now, coming back to our point. I told you for Vada Prakopa, there are two reasons, Dadukshaya and Margavaroda, isn't it? So, this Vata dosha, along with other doshas, imagine it is moving through the srotas, that is the channels. While it is moving, it meets up with an obstruction. And that obstruction can be anything. Ama, it can be Kava, it can be Pitta, it can be Sangha. What is Sangha? Sangha is a Srotodushti, isn't it? It can be even a subtype of Vata also. So when the Tridoshas are moving through the channels, if it comes and meet, any interruption is there? Any doubts? Okay.
Ma'am.
If it meets an obstruction there, what will happen is that Vada is more powerful among the Tridosha, isn't it? And because of that powerness, it will aggravate furthermore. It will become more and more powerful, so powerful that it will have the ability to dislodge that which is causing obstruction to different places and cause lakshanas according to the sthana where it is being localized. Okay? As a result, the rasadi dhatu will be shaya. This is in simple terms, this is what is happening in Avarana. Okay. When you start anything, you have to start with its nirukti. Say, for example, if you are getting a question on Adisara, write what is the nirukti, Adiva Sarana Adisara. Just like that, for any question, if you are getting for 20 or 10 marks, begin from the nirukti. And this Avarna is yet another important topic for your question examination. Okay, it can be asked for 20 marks, it can be asked for 10 marks, or 5 marks, or 4 marks. Usually, it will be for 10 or 20 marks. So, pay a bit more attention. But regarding PG students, you have to pay more attention to the Chigilsa part. Okay. But for a BMS syllabus, it will be in general only. You will not be specifically asked to explain the Lakshanas, but the Chikilsa part of Avarna can be specifically asked, or else in general explain, describe Avarna. That will be the question. Okay. Now, the Avarna means nothing but Avaroda or Gadi Nirodha that I told you, isn't it? Avarna is nothing but a Gadi Nirodha for Vata. As a result, Vata Prakopa will happen, resulting in Avarana. Now, these are some of the terms that have been used in our classics. In the Kasa Adhyaya, the term Pradikada has been mentioned. Madhumeha, Avritagati is explained. In Shobha, Betha Marga has been mentioned. And in Ashtanidada Purusha, the term Avaroda has been mentioned. These all indicate the role of Avarana in the Samprapti of Kasa, Madhumeha, Shobha, etc. So we can say that the terms Pradikada, Avritagati, Betha Marga, Avaroda are the synonyms for Avarana. Now, this sloka is important. This is the beginning of your answer, isn't it? So, first you have to give the definition of Avarana. So, try to by heart this sloka. Okay, according to Vaidyasara Sangraha, Vadadi doshaha kramasho dadun sarva anga evacha avritya kurute yasmat tasmat avaranam viduhu. That is, the Vada can get obstructed by Vadadi dosha, that is from Kapha or Pitta, Kramasho Dhadu by the Sapta Dhadu, Malas, Sarva Anga Evacha. It can happen anywhere in the body, and this is nothing but Avarana. Now, regarding the types, this is again important. Regarding the types of Avarna, based on the Taradama Vikalpat, based on the permutation and combinations, Avarna is Asankhya, it is innumerable. That is one opinion. And in generally, we can classify Avarna into two, Samanya and Anyonya. I will come to that. What are they? And Charagacharya explains 42 types, whereas Vagbhadacharya and Susrutacharya explains 44 times. Now let's see what are the 44 types of Avarna. These are all the basics. I'm just refreshing it up. Okay. Now the 44 types can be again subdivided into two main headings, Anyonya Avarna or Amurtha Avarna. That is 20 in number. Don't get confused between the terms Anyonya Avarna and Anya Avarna. Anyonya means what? Between each other. That is between the subtypes of Vata. Occlusion among the subtypes of Vata. That is Anyonya. Anyonya between each other. That is Vata is having Panchavata, isn't it? Pranavrta Samana, Samanavrta Prana, Pranavrta Vyana. All is coming under Anyonya Avarna. How many are there? 20. It is also called Amurtha Avarna. What's the meaning of Amurtha? Susruta in Vada Kalali Adhyaya gives the term Amurta for Vada. Amurta means that which is not having any shape, but it doesn't mean that it is not having an existence. Just like that in the nature, you can see how cyclones happen. The same way in our body also, Vada can get occluded with each other, resulting in Anyonya Avarana. Okay, clear? Next, we will go to Anya Avarana. Anyavarna means anything other than the types of Vada. That is, Vada can get occluded from other doshas by Pitta and Kapha. That is Doshavrita Vada. It can get occluded by Dhadus. It is 7 in number. It can get occluded by Anna and Mala. It can get occluded by Ama. So anything other than the subtypes of Vada all comes under Anya Avarana or Murta Avarana, or it is Samanya. Now did you understand how I classified Avarna into Samanya and Anyonya? Samanya is nothing but Anya Avarna. It is 24 in number. These numbers are very, very important. Okay. Now Doshavrita Vada is 13 types. We will discuss what are they. That is the occlusion to Vada by Pitta and Kapha. Dhatu Avrita, it is 7 in number. Anna and Mala Avrita, the Mala is mainly Mutra and Purisha. Okay. And finally Amavrita Vada or Samavada. Now, this is the 20 types of Anyonya Avarna or Amurta Avarna. What is Anyonya Avarna? The occlusion between the subtypes of Vata. They are 20 in number. Now, rather than writing number 1 Pranavrta Udarana and number 2 Pranavrta Samana, rather than writing in that order, if you follow this type of pictorial representation, it will be easier for the examiner to evaluate also, and also for your benefit is that you will not miss out anything. What I did is that I took prana to the left side and then classified and then wrote all the other 4 types. And then it is self-explanatory, isn't it? Pranavrta Udana, then Udanavrta Prana. That makes 2. Pranavrta Samana, Samanavrta Prana. That makes 4. Pranavrta Vyana, Vyanavrta Prana. So in total, there are 8 types. Again, prana is over. Then what's remaining? I took again Udana and then charted it in the form. So that makes 6 types. Then what is after once Udana is over, what is remaining? Samana. Samana Vrta Vyana, Vyana Vrta Samana. Samana Vrta Apana, Apana Vrta Samana. That makes 4. Then finally Vyana Vrta Abana and Abana Vrta Vyana. So total 20 Avarna, Anyonya Avarna is over. Isn't it easy for you to write and understand? Yeah, try to write this pattern in your exam also. Okay. Now coming to the Anyavarna. Anyavarna is Doshavrita Vada is 13 types. Same pattern I followed here also for Kapha Avrita. Kapha occluding the 5 types of each type of vata. Kaphavrta prana, kaphavrta udana, kaphavrta vyana, kaphavrta samana, kaphavrta apana. So that makes 5. Again for pitta also, pitta including the 5 vadas. That makes 10. Then pitta avrta vada, kapha avrta vada, kapha pitta avrta vada. So that total makes 13. Now what are remaining? The 7 dosh dhatu avrta, the 3 mala avrta, and finally 1 samavrta or amavrta vada. So the remaining 11. So total will be 24. Anyavarna 24. Is it clear? Now while discussing avarna, there are two main terms that you must be familiar with. One is avarya or avrita. Krita avaranaha avrita. That is the definition according to Shapta Kalpadruma. Avrita is that which is getting obstructed inside. Okay, that which is getting the avarana. That is nothing but avrita. See, in just for your understanding only, I gave a symbolic representation. In the center part is the avrita. That which is getting obstructed is nothing but avrita or avarya. And vada is always the avrita in anyavarna. Okay, anyavarna means what? Vada getting obstructed or occluded by dosha, dhatu, mala, etc. So vada is always the avrita. Avrita, vada. Avrita, vada. Remember it that way. Avrita, vada. Vada is always the avrita. In anyonya avarna also vada is avrita, but it is the occlusion among the subtypes, isn't it? So if pranavrita samana means what? Which is the avrita there? Samana is the avrita, prana is the avaraka. We'll come to avaraka next. So that which is getting obstructed is nothing but avrita. In anyonya avarana, vada can act both as avrita as well as avaraka. Any doubt till here? No. I hope there's no doubt. I'm clear. Now, according to the Bella, usually in generally, avrita will lose its function. Atra avaryanam beli avaranat. You imagine if two types of vada are moving each other. One is stronger and one is weaker. Who will dominate? Obviously, the stronger one will dominate the weaker one, isn't it? Same way, because of the Beli Avaranat, since the Avaraka is Bella, having more Bella, the Avrita will lose its function. Swakarma Hanir Bhavati. Remember, Avrita, for Avrita, there will be loss of its function. Swakarma Hanir Bhavati. Next is avaraka. Avaraka can be anything. That can be pitta kaphabhyam, dhadu pisha, sapta dhadus, mutrehi, in general all the malas. Avaranam yujyate. This is the avaraka. That which is causing the obstruction is avaraka. That which is getting obstructed is avrita. That which is causing obstruction is avaraka. And for avaraka, avaragasya tu swakarma vriddhir bhavati. Usually the avaraka will be more stronger or more dominating than the avrita. That is why swakarma vriddhir bhavati. And that vriddhi doesn't mean that increase. Vriddhi means what? An abnormalcy in its normal function. Okay, just consider vriddhi as the abnormalcy or the pragupita function. Okay, it is not the qualitative or quantitative increase. Avaragasya tu swakarma vriddhir bhavati. This is important. That's why I kept on repeating avrita and avaraka. Okay. Now we'll move on to the samanya lakshana. Yesham swakarmanam hanir vriddhir va avarane mata. That is what I was explaining till now. For avrita, what will happen? Swakarma hani. For avaraka, what will happen? Swakarma vriddhi. Why I am repeating this is that it is not possible to by heart all the lakshanas of the avrita vada in this limited period. So if you know, if pranavrita vyana, if you know from the term, if you know what is avrita and what is avaraka, to an extent you can write the lakshanas by yourself. Once you know the normal functions of prana, you can understand if prana is being avaraka there, what could happen to the normalcy. Likewise, from your logic itself, you can write the lakshanas and make a treatment accordingly. That is why I kept on repeating what is avrita and what is avaraka. I hope it is clear. Okay. Now coming to the Vishesha Lakshana. I told you it is not possible to study all the lakshanas within this limited period of time, but just I have specifically indicate which are the most important lakshanas. Only for the purpose of explaining chikilsa part, I have chosen certain lakshanas. While when you are studying, keep your textbook aside with you and compare my slide as well as and the notes along with your textbook, so that you will get a more clear idea on the lakshana and how the chikilsa is acting here. Regarding Pranavrita Vyana, this is Anyonya Avarna. Anyonya Avarna is how many in number? 20. Okay. First, the Pranavrita Vyana, Indriya Shunyada, Smriti Balakshaya are some of the lections. What is the function of Pranavayu? Where is it situated? Prano atra urdhvaga, isn't it? That is why urdhva jatru chikilsa is simple logic, isn't it? You can easily write. Regarding the functions of pranavayu, buddhi, hridaya, indriya, chitta, drig, isn't it? These are all explained. In pranavrita vyana, what is the avaraga there? Prana is the avaraga, vyana is the avrita. So normally the functions of vyana will be swakarma hani. You cannot see the vyana vayu cannot exhibit its functions, but an aggravated condition of vikrita pranavada is seen. That is why smriti balakshaya happens. Indriya shunyata will happen. While studying the Lakshana, just give a bit more importance to Prana, Vyana, and Udana. Why? Because all the Lakshanas are being mentioned in the neurodegenerative diseases. This is for PG students, okay? Just pay a bit more attention to Prana, Vyana, and Udana Lakshana, because these three Vayu functions are being hampered in the neurodegenerative diseases. Smriti Balakshaya, dementia, Alzheimer's disease, isn't it? I'll come to that later, okay? Regarding pranavrita samana, jada gatyada muktata, difficulty in speech, dumbness, slurring speech are all explained in the pranavrita samanavada lakshana. And there snehana is the chikilsa mentioned. Snehana in the form of pana, abhyanga, vasti, and nasya can be adopted. Coming to pranavrita udana, where is the sthana of udana? Urasthanam udanasya, isn't it? Vak, pravarti, prayatna, urja are the functions of udana. So all those functions will be hampered. And aggravated pranavayu function will be seen. That is nishwasa, uchwasa, sangraha, mukha shosha are seen. Facial palsy. Okay. Again, there also urdhva jatru chikilsa in the form of nasya, shirodhara can be adopted there. Udanavrita prana. In Udanavarta Prana, one Lakshana is mentioned is Mrityu. Ojo, Bela, Varna, Karma, Nasha, and Mrityu. Nowhere else the feature Mrityu is being explained. Okay, that is that we can consider it as towards the terminal stage of any disease, Udanavrita Prana. That is why in the Chigilsa part also, Acharya didn't mention any other measures to be adopted. Only Shidavaris, Injet, and Ashwasana procedure has been mentioned there. So Udanavrta Prana, Mrityu is the feature there. Then in Vyanavrta Prana, what is the Avaraga there? Vyana. What is the Avrita Prana? That is Pranavada being occluded by Vyana. So aggravated features of Vyanavada will be seen there. Okay, there Sneha Virejana is being this. See, these are all Vada, isn't it? So everywhere for the Chikilsa you can adopt Snehana. Okay. For if you're writing Taila, Krida, everywhere you can adopt, bring the principles of Vata Chikilsa in the Anyonya Avarna. If you are not able to by heart for Vyanavrta Prana, that is Sneha Virejana, in that way, if you are not able to study, in generally you can bring the Samanya Chikilsa of Vata. Okay, here. Then Udanavrta Abana, Shardi, and Shwasa. And when Abana comes, it is much more easier to write the Lakshana, isn't it? Abana, where is the sthana? Pakvashya. So, in Abana Varda Udana, can you see? Meham, Agni Madhyam, Adisaram, there will be Adi Pravarti of Abana. Adi Pravarti of Mutra Vitareta is seen. So, for that, depending upon the strength of the patient, you can adopt Depanagrahi medicines initially, and later, if the doshas are still persisting, you can adopt Vamana. Shall I move on? Again, continuation of the Anyonya Avarna. See, Udanavrta Vyana. This is important. Right? Try to study the Lakshanas here, because Alpagni, Cheshtahani, Nirmilana, Taptata. Chestahani means what? Loss of motor movements. Nirmirina, unable to blink the eyelids. Taptada, stiffness of the body. Can you correlate to any other modern diseases? It is more or less these features are seen in Parkinson's disease. That is why I told you pay a bit more attention to prana, udana, and vyana function, because in majority of the neurodegenerative diseases, these functions of these three other functions are being altered. So we can say that in Parkinson's disease, the features of udana or the vyana are seen, isn't it? And so the treatment is patya, patyahara, midahara, liku ahara. Okay. Then Samana Vrdavyana, again Murcha, Tandra, Pralapa, Agni, Balakshaya. There, Vyayama, Lagu Bhojana, Ruksha procedures are being explained there. Because where is the sthana of Samana? Samano Agni Samipastaha, isn't it? There, the symptom is Agni Bala Shaya. So, what's the one aim? To bring back the Agni to its normalcy. So, Ruksha procedures are being explained. Vyayamam, Lagu Bhojanam, Langana procedures, isn't it? Likewise, using your own logic, to an extent, you can bring out the Lakshana and the Chikilsa. Coming to Samana with Abana, I told you for Abana, Deepana, Anulomana measures can be adopted there. Okay. Coming to Vyanavrta Abana, again, Vami, Atmana, Gulma, Udavarta. See, when Vyanavrta Abana is mentioned, the treatment is Anulomana. But when Abana Vrta Vyana is mentioned, what is the Chikilsa there? Sangrahan or Grahi. Why? Because what's the normal function of Abana? Min Mutra Re, the normal function. When in Abana Vrta Vyana, what is the Avaraga there? Apana is the Avaraga. That is Swakarma Vritti of Apana Vayu is happening there. That is why Vin Mutra Re, the Adi Pravarti is seen. So the Chigilsa is Sangrahana. You got it? But in the case of Vyana Vrta Apana, Apana is the Avrta. That is Swakarma Hani. There the Chigilsa is Anulomana. You got the difference? I hope so. Now, how many Anyonya Avarna are there? 20. How many Lakshanas have been explained? Only 12. Acharya says that the remaining 8 varieties are very easy for you to understand by their Lakshanas itself. That is why I am not going to explain it. Okay, so only 12 Lakshanas has been explained in our classics, and the remaining 8 is self-understandable. That was regarding Anyonya Avarana. Now we are moving to the Lakshanas of Anya Avarana. Any doubts still here? Coming to the Anya Avarana, first we will discuss the Dosha Avrta Vata, that is Pitta Avrta Vata, Kapha Avrta Vata, and Kapha Pitta Avrta Vata. In Pitta Avrta Vata, see from the Lakshanas itself, you can understand that more Paitika features will be seen, isn't it? Pitta is the Avaraga and Vada is the Avrta. So more Paitika features you can write by in yourself itself. Daham, Trishnam, Shulam, Framam, Vidaham, Kaduvadam, Lavanoushnam, Shida Kamita, all whatever Paitika features you can write there. Okay? And coming to the Chigilsa, even though it is Pittakna Chigilsa must be done, you should not do treatment that is Avirodhi to Vada. That is Pittakner Marudasya Avirodhibihi. Remember that Pittakner Marudasya Avirodhibihi. You can adopt whatever treatment for bringing back the Pitta, but it should not be Marudasya Avirodhi. So, in order to maintain that state, what other treatments we can follow? Shiravasti, Madhura Aushadha, Anuvasana Vasti. Some drugs are also mentioned in by our Acharyas. Madhuyashti Taila, Panjamula Kashaya, Bela Kashaya, Jeevaniya Krida. See, Jeevaniya Krida, it is both Pittahara as well as because of the property of Krida, it will not aggravate Vada also. And then one interesting factor here is that Acharya has advised to choose Ushna and Shita Chikilsa alternatively. Ushna Chikilsa, see, when Pitta is aggravated, the patient even will have Shida Kamitva. He will have a desire to the Shida procedures. But if you are using Shida Chikilsa, what will happen eventually? Vata will aggravate. But if you are using Ushna procedures, what will happen? Eventually Pitta will aggravate. So maintain the balance, depending upon the condition of the Lakshana, condition of the patient, choose wisely or alternatively Ushna and Shita Chikilsa. Then Jivaniyagrita, Dhanva Mamsam, Yavam Shali are the Patyaharas mentioned there. Madhuyashti Taila, Panjamula Kashaya, Bela Kashaya. Okay. Coming to Kapha Avritavada, there more Kaphaja features are seen. Gauravam, Shulam, Shaityam, Klamam, Tandra, Kadu is the Upashaya, Ruksha is the Upashaya, and there the patient will have Ushna Kamitva. He will desire more towards a hot objects. And there the Patyana mentioned is Yavanam, Jangala Mamsam, Sweda, Tishna Niruhavasti, Virejana, and for also the medicines also has been mentioned like Purana Krida, Tilataila, Sarshabataila. Okay. In Kafavrta Vada, normally there will be pain. That is why Svedana is mentioned instead of Apyanga. Svedana is mentioned because Svedana is Shulahara as well as it will dislodge the kapha also. And Tishna Niruha Basti. Again, Vamana is not mentioned, but Tikshna Niruha Basti is mentioned here. Why? In order to balance the kapha and vata. Now there will be another condition where both kapha and pitta will be occluding the vada. That is kapha pitta avrita vada. There what will happen is that the lakshanas will be a mixed features of above two. Both pitta and kapha. You will find mixed features. In such a case, what will be the chikitsa to be adopted? Samsrishte kapha pittapyam pitta madhav vinirjayet. When there is a condition of both kapha and pitta together, pittam adav vinirjayet. First, you should go for pitta hara chikitsa. This is mentioned in some other chikitsa sutra also. In which roga this is mentioned? No, I won't tell you the answer. You tell me at the end. Now, anybody sleeping after hearing all of this avarana? I hope no. Now let's move on to Dhatu Avarana. Anyavarana, first we discussed about the Dosha Avarana, Dosha Avrita. Now we are going to the Dhatu Avarana, Lakshana and Chikitsa. This is comparatively a bit more important, okay, because this is the favorite spot for Viva. Say, you may get a question like Sparsha Dvesha is seen in which Avrita condition? Pipilikanam Sanjaraiva is seen in which Avrita condition? Pidanam Japinandat is mentioned where? Amavada is Chigilsa is mentioned in which context? Likewise, even though this is not much important for theoretical purpose, this is a favorite spot in Viva. So try, if you're studying the Lakshana, just give more importance in the Dhatu Avarana Lakshana. Okay. And also when you're preparing for further competitive examinations also and for your PhD entrance also, this Dhatu Avarana Lakshanas are very, 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 very important. So while studying this, keep your textbook along with you. Okay. In the Rektavrita Vada, what is Rektavrita Vada meaning? Vada being occluded by vitiated Rekta. So is there any difference between Rektavrita Vada and Vada Rekta? If you can see the Rektavrita Vada, the Chikitsa is Vada Rekta Chikitsa, isn't it? So is it same or is it different? No, somebody was replying me, I couldn't hear you. In Rektavrita Vada, what is happening? We can say that Vada is an innocent factor there. It is the vitiated Rekta that is occluding the Vada. But in Vada Rekta, what is happening? Both Vada and Rekta is getting vitiated. Vitiated Vada and vitiated Rekta meets together, resulting in a further high vitiation of Rekta, resulting in another disease called Vada Rekta. And one more difference is that if you can see in the Lakshana, you see Daharti Twak Mamsa Anda Ragashvedu Mandala Sparshatvesha. Twak Mamsa Anda. That means that in Rektavrita Vada, symptoms are persisting or limiting to in between Twak and Mamsa. But in Vatarakta, you know, there is Uttana Avastha and Gambhira Avastha where all the Dhadus are affected. Okay. But Acharya has explained us, you can adopt the principles told in Vada Rakta Chikitsa for treating Rektavrita Vada condition. Okay. Coming to Mamsavrita Vada, Katina, Vivarna, Pidaga, Shofa is mentioned. Harshaha, Pipilikanam Sanjareva. The person will have a sensation of ants. Pipilika is ants crawling all through our body. In Mamsavrita Vada. And in Mamsavrita Vada and Medasavrita Vada, if you can see, both Shofa is mentioned. One difference is that in Mamsavrta it is Kadina Shobha, but in Medasavrtavada it is Chala Snikta Mrudu Shobha. Okay, that is why in Mamsavrtavada you see the Chigil says nothing but Sweda. Svedana is to for the Kadina Shobha and for removing the Shula also. Sweda, Apyanga, Mamsarasa, Shira procedures are mentioned in Mamsavrtavada. Coming to Medasavardhavada, this is a bit more important. Why? Because Prameha, Medokna, Amavada, Shopa Chigilsa is mentioned here. Only in Medasavardhavada, Charagacharya has given the term Amavada. Amavada, only in this context we can find the term here. But if you see in the commentary, Amavada is nothing but Atyavada. Okay, in Charaka commentary, it is being written as Amavada is nothing but Atyavada, and the synonym of Medasavardhavada is nothing but Atyavada. Which other yoga is also known by the term Atyavada? One more disease is known by the term Atyavada, it is Urustamba. Okay, so for Medasavardhavada, Pramehahara, Medohara Aushadas must be used. Why? Because Medasavardhavada, what is the Avaraga there? Medas, Kleda. In Prameha and Medokna, Medo Roga like Staulia, again Medas is the Dadu that is getting vitiated there. There will be more Kleda there, isn't it? So that is why Acharya has advised us to take the Chikilsa from Prameha as well as Medo Rogas. Amavada Chikilsa, that is removing Kapha and Medas, Shofa Chikilsa. Regarding Astyavrtavada, Pidanam cha apinandadi means what? The person will have a relief or comfort by the massaging procedures or Pidana. Suji piriva nistutite, that is the person will have pins and needles like pricking sensation. That is, you can correlate this sensation to what? To the entrapment syndrome or the various neuropathies mentioned in the modern classics. Like carpal tunnel syndrome, you can correlate that carpal tunnel syndrome may be a feature in Astyavrtavada. Okay. And for that, the treatment is Mahasneha. For Majavritavada also, Mahasneha. For Asti and Majavritavada, Mahasneha is the line of management. In Majavritavada, Vinama, Panipyam, Lafade Sudam, these are only the main important lakshanas that I have mentioned here, only for your Vaiva purpose. You can read from the text other lakshanas. Okay. Coming to Shukravritavada, Adivega or Avega or Nushphala. Either premature ejaculation or all other ejaculatory dysfunctions are being included under Shukravritavada Lakshana, and there we can adopt Vrishya Chikilsa. Now coming to Sarva Dhatu Avritavada. This is a condition explained in Ashtangridaya only. Okay, this is not mentioned by Charagacharya. Sarva Dhatu Avrita, you can see features like Sroni, Vangshana, Prishtaruk, Hrit, Pida. Only that much is enough. Okay. Now Anyavarna, what was remaining? We discussed Doshavarta and Dhatu Then coming to Malavarna. Regarding Annavrita Vada, you can see the Lakshana, one main Lakshana here is Hukte Kukshaucha Ruk. On intake of food, there is pain. Jirne Shamidi, and later it gets subsided. So you can understand that there is an initial kapha or amatva in Annavrtavada. So what should be the treatment? Amachigalsa, that is Pajana and Deepana. Later, if the doshas are still persisting, Vamana. Why Vamana? Because the initial pain, Hukte Kukshaucha Ruk, if the pain is there in initial intake, it is due to the Ajirna or predominance of Kapha dosha. That is why Vamana has been advised here. Ashtavarga Kashaya, Gandharvastha Kashaya are all a good choice in that condition. Okay. Regarding Mutra Vrdavada, Apravarti Atmana Vastiruk. If Mutra is not flowing out, what will happen to the Vasti? Atmanam will be there, distension of the bladder will be there. Normally there will be pain also. So what should be the first line of management in such a cases? Give local Sveta to remove the or to ease the pain, followed by Uttaravasti. Uttaravasti is to remove the obstruction. Okay. Coming to Varchasavrtavada, Adivibadham, Dukkham, Shushkam, Shakrit. See, the Shakrit is very dry, very hard, Adivibadham, highly constipated. You can correlate this to the condition of fecolic in me. modern science. Okay. Because of that, the patient will have Atmanam and other features of Sarva Dhatu Avrita Vata Lakshana. What was that? Sroni, Vangshana, Prishta, Ruk, all sorts of pain will be there. And there, Acharya has advised to follow Udavarta Chikilsa. What is Udavarta? It is the Urdu Gadi, upward Viloma Gadi of the Vada. It can be due to wit or it can be due to Udavarta, can be due to any Vegas also. So that is why in Varjasavrita Vada condition, Acharya has advised to follow Udavarta Chikilsa, and there Eranda Taila is being specifically mentioned because Eranda Taila is Sara in nature. We will discuss Eranda Taila is very important regarding the Avarana Chikilsa. Okay, so you have to study the sloka as well as the properties of Eranda Taila. I'll tell you later why Eranda Taila is so important in Avarana Chikilsa. Uh, Naomi, are you talking to me? Okay, let's. You can ask the doubts at the end of the session. Okay, Naomi, is that okay? Shall I continue? Okay.
Yes.
Now, till now, we were discussing only the basics. Now, are you feeling sleepy? If you're feeling sleepy, just wake up because from this session onwards, our main part is beginning. Okay. This till now we were discussing what is Avarna, what is happening in general, what is happening to Avarana, what is Avrita, what is Avaraga, what are the types, what are the Samanya Lakshanas. In general, how can you chart the Lakshanas and then plan a management? These were all the basics. Okay. But now, from now on, UGs and PGs pay more attention because this is the main area of your answering. Chigilsa. Chigilsa Sutra is very, 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 very important because till now I didn't ask you to learn by heart any slokas. Only at the definition I asked you to by heart the sloka. But Chigilsa Sutra, start studying now if you haven't studied yet. This is very, very important. Annavishyandibhihi sniktaihi srodasam shuddhikarakahi kaphapittavirudam yacha vadanulomanam ಸ್ವಸ್ಥಾನಾವೃದೆ ಅಪ್ಯಾಶು ತತ್ಕಾರ್ಯಮಾರುದೇಹಿತಂ ಯಾಬನವಸ್ಥೆಯ ಪ್ರಾಯೋ ಮಧುರಹಸ ಅನ್ವಾಸನ ಪ್ರಸಮೀಕ್ಷ್ಯ ಬಲಾಧಿಕ್ಯ ಮೃದುವಾ ಸ್ರಂಸನಂ ಹಿತಂ. You can write the meaning, but apart from writing the meaning of the sloka, you have to put your own inputs also. Your own logical application is what the examiner seeks for in your answers. Okay. What is the meaning of Anabhishyandibhihi Sniktahi? Acharya has advised to start the Chikilsa using Anabhishyandi measures, which are at the same time Snikta and Srodoshodhana. See, just before I told you the Anya Avarna, while I was discussing Kapha Avrita Vada and Pitta Avrita Vada, I have told you to pay a bit more attention to the Lakshana and the Chikilsa, isn't it? That is nothing but there Acharya is explaining what the Anabhishyandi Snikta measures are, isn't it? There Acharya has advised to choose what Tiladaila, Sarshabadaila, if Kapha is the Avarna there, then if Pitta is the Avaraga there, what should be used? Jivaniya Krida, Anu Shiravasti, Anuvasanavasti, Madhuraushada, Anuvasanavasti. One example is using Yashti Madhu, then Jivaniya Krida, isn't it? So you can include that context in the Anabhishyandibhihi Sniktaihi part. Is it clear? Then following the Srodho Shodhana. That is according to the dosha predominance. Srodho Shodhana must be selected. And Swasthana Avride Apyash. If the Vada is in the Swasthana, the measurement must be Kapha Pitta Aviruddha. It should decrease the Kapha as well as Pitta. At the same time, Vadanulomanam also. This is the area where air and the thyla is becoming more and more suitable in Avarna Chikilsa because air and the thyla is having both Kapha and Pittahara property as well as it is Vadanulomana also. And apart from that, how can you do Kapha Pitta Virodhi Chikilsa at the same time Vadanulomanam? That is explained in the last two lines. Choose Yabanavasti Prayo Madhuraha Sanvasana with the Madhuraushada. That you understood why I explained in Apvishandibhihi Sniktaihi. Select the measure explained in Kapha and Pitta Vrita condition. This is the reason. Yabanavasteha Prayo Madhuraha Sanvasana. Anvasanavasti using Madhuraushada. Prasamikshya Beladikam, depending upon the Bela of the Roga as well as Bela of the Rogi, Mrudu was Sramsanam Hidam. Mrudu Shodhana can be adopted or Sramsana is nothing but Virejana. Virejana can be adopted. Likewise, while studying a sloga, if you get more and more ideas and more opinions, you can add on to this sloga. This is only my view, but you can add on to it. Okay. Apart from writing just the slogan and its meaning, give more and more explanation to each term. Okay, this is the Chikitsa Sutra, very important. Now coming to Rasayana and Avarna, this is also a very important for BM students. You can get a 2-mark question in this part. Explain Rasayana in Avarna Chikitsa. There, these 4 lines are very, very important. Apart from that, if you're getting only a question of Rasayana in Avarna Chikitsa, how can you present the answer? You can write what is rasayana, the definition. Laphopayo hi shastanam rasadinam rasayana. And what is the role of rasad? Where is rasayana acting? Rasayana is acting in the dhatus. Now, what is avarana? Write what is avarana. And what is happening to dhatus in avarana? Rasadishaya is happening. That is why rasayana is acting in, is very important in avarana. You understood the principle? Rasayananam sarvesham upayogah prashasyate. For every kinds of avarna, rasayana prayoga is very, very important. This is the reason why in avarna dhadushaya is happening and rasayana is having a special action or rasayana is acting on rasadi dhatus. That is why the chikitsa should end with rasayana. And what all rasayana drugs can be selected? Acharya explains that Shailasya Jaduno Atyartham Payasa Gugulu Stata. Shailasya Jadun is nothing but Shilajadu and Gugulu. Along with milk should be taken. Now, while considering the selection of the drugs in Avarna Chikitsa, what should be the factors that we should look for? The drugs should have the properties like, first, it should have the ability to remove the Srodoroda, isn't it? Whatever is causing the obstruction, if it is ama, if it is kapha, it should have, the drug should have the property to remove that obstruction. That is amahara, kapahara, medohara property. 1. Secondly, it should not increase the vada, isn't it? It should be vada anulomana also. And finally, where is the avarna happening? Avarna is happening in the srodhas, isn't it? So it should maintain the normalcy of the srodhas. For that, it should have the property of rasayana. And in order to remove the srodoroda, the drugs should have which property? The drugs should have lekhana property. And 2 drugs which are satisfying all these criteria are Shilajadu and Gugulu. That is why Acharya has specifically mentioned the Upayoga of Shilajadu and Gugulu. Both are rasayana, both are having lekhana property, both are medohara, as well as both are vada anulomana or vada shamana also. Okay, is it clear? Leham va bhargava proktam. What is bhargava leha? It is nothing but chavana prasha. While the man is taking chavana prasha as rasayana purpose, he should stick on to the diet of milk. Okay, then Apayamalagi Rasayana with Ekadasha Siddhashata, 1100 pala of Siddha. Is it clear? So Chikitsa Sutra is important, Rasayana is again important. Now these are the other principles of Avarna Chikitsa mentioned in the classics. If you can study the sloga well, it's good, but if not, you can follow this pattern of writing. Because already one part of Chikitsa I have explained while describing the lakshanas of Dhadu, Dosha, Vrida, etc. There also I have already mentioned the Chikitsa of Kaphavrida Vada, Kapakna, Marudasya, Anulomana. Why I again repeated here is that based on the sthana, some changes are mentioned. That is, if Kaphavrida Vada is happening in Amashya, Vamana is the mentioned there. If it is happening in Pakvashaya or along with Pitta, Virejana must be selected. Or if Kaphavrita Vada is happening in Pakvashaya where the kapha is in the form of Vishyanda, there Acharya advises not to choose Virejana but Vasti with Ushna Gomutra. In Shiras, it's easy to write the Chikitsa, that is Dhumapanam, Nasyam, or the Shirogada procedures like Tala, Taila, Dhara can be Shirobasti can be adopted there. Whatever measures, it should be Kapakna but Marudasya Anulomana. Where this Chikitsa Sutra is mentioned again in some diseases. No, I won't tell the answer. It's for you. Now moving to Abhanavrta Chikitsa. Abhanavrte Sarvam Deepanam Grahi Peshacha. To remove the Abhanavrta, you have to adopt Deepana medicine. And what is the why Grahi Peshacha is said? Because when Abhana is getting or when Abhana is going to occlude the other doshas, the normal functions of Abhana will be aggravated, isn't it? Adi pravarti of wind, mutra, redas is seen. So we have to stop it. Grahi Veshajam. Okay. But even though we are selecting such a drug, it should be Vadanulomana as well as Pakwasya Shodhana also. Again, uh, Erenda Taila is important here. Marija is also another choice here. Okay. In Swasthana, the doshas become belly, and therefore Soy Raushadir Jayed. If Vada is Bela, choose Vasti. If Kapha is Bela, choose Vamana. If Pitta is Bela, choose Virejana. These are the other principles mentioned for Avarna Chikitsa. Okay. And again, at another important treatment for Panchavada. If you can study the sloka, it's good, or else follow this pattern. For Udanavada, where is the sthana of Udana? Urasthanam Udanasya. So, Urdhva Chikitsa. For Abhana, Anulomana Chikitsa. For Shamana, for Samanavada, Shamana. For Vyana, you can choose all the above three. Urdhva Chikitsa, Anulomana Chikitsa, as well as Shamana Chikitsa. And for Prana, Rekshet, because Prana is important among the five. It is the pranavada that is maintaining the equilibrium of the life, equilibrium of the dosha, dhatu, and so whatever measures you adopt, prana should be rakshayet. Prana is jiva and udana is bela. Okay, so to remember this, I can tell you a clue, a simple silly trick. Okay, udana is starting with the letter U. Urdhva Chikitsa U. Apana is starting with the letter A. Anulomana. Samana, Shamana. I think it's rhyming, isn't it? So just by heart this part, okay? You can get it for any entrance examination or for Viva also. And don't forget to write this part in your exam. Now I have been telling about why Avrn Thaila is important in Avarna Chikitsa. This is the reason. If you see the properties of Avrn Thaila, it is Tikta Rasa, Ushna, Virya, Madhura. See Madhura. Madhura Anuvasana Vasti, isn't it? Sara, Guru. Sara means laxative, Guru, and Kapha Vada Anulomana. And the main point, just study this logo, okay? The main point or why Avrn Thaila is suitable in Avarna is, the reason is explained in Ashtangrudam Udara Chikitsa. That is Kaphe Vadena Pitte Va Tapyam Va Api Avrde Anile Belinaha So Aushada Yudam Taila Merandajam Hidam. You understood? If Vada is getting obstructed by either Kapha or Pitta or by both, Kapha, Pitta, Avrata condition, which is the best medicine, the best choice is Taila, Erendaja, Erenda Taila, Sukumara, Erenda or Nimbamrita, Erenda, Gandharvastadi, Kashaya. In any form, depending upon the Bela of the patient, you can choose Erenda Taila. Is it clear? Are you feeling sleepy? Don't sleep because now coming to the Asadhya Lakshana. If the symptoms persist for more than 1 year, or if the symptoms are neglected, or if improperly treated by the Vaidya, Avarna will turn Asadhya. Okay, and the 5 Upadrava Vyadhi, please by heart it is simple, only 5 Upadravas are mentioned. Hridroga, Vidradi, Pliha, Gulma, Adisara. Once again, Hridroga, Vidradi, Pliha, Gulma, Adisara. If you can find a logic for why this Upadrava happened due to Avarna, it is good. Okay, this is for you. Or else this to just mention it while writing the exam part. Okay, the main focus is highlight the Chikitsa area. All these are additional mark scoring points only. Okay. Now, again, wake up if you are feeling sleepy. This is going to be at another interesting part for you PGs. This is where you have to focus on. How is, till now it was the basic of what is Avarna and what's the Chikitsa line of sutra. Now, clinical approach to Avarna. How can you apply the principles of Avarna in Yoga? Is it easy to diagnose Avarna? Well, a wise physician can diagnose it easily, but for beginners, it's always a challenge. Okay. Even Acharya says that it is always a challenge. And so we can diagnose it, or we can come to a provisional diagnosis only by the exclusion criteria, because there will be no specific nidana. Like Mityahara Vihara, there will be no specific nidana for the lakshanas to be exhibited. There will be no specific samprapti. It is near to impossible to come into a probable samprapti there. The lakshanas, vada vyadhi lakshanas. If see, if you get a patient having burning sensation, will you directly jump to a conclusion that it is rektavrita vada? No, you will try to exclude all other factors, isn't it? Likewise, upashaya. So, if you feel Ushna will bring upashaya in the case of Vaidika condition, no. Sometimes it may aggravate the condition. So we cannot come to a conclusion that this will be the upashaya here. And chigilsa also. Normal line of management is difficult. So by excluding all these factors, then we will come to that. Still, if there is a election of vada present, then we can think that this might be avarana. Now, in Madhumeha, Vakpada Acharya has clearly divided Madhumeha into Dadukshaya and Avarana. Okay, I choose the Madhumeha as an example because Acharya itself has clearly described the Nidana Samprapti, etc. That is why I mentioned here. Okay, just pay attention. Okay, Madhumeha Nidana for Dadukshaya, Kashaya Tikta Kaduru Shalagu, Anashanam, Jagara, Nisha Jagara, Vyayama Vyavaya, Adi Yoga. All those will lead to Dadusheja Madhumeha. But in the case of Avarna, the Dinanas are Amla, Lavana, Snikta, Guru, Adhyashanam, Adinidra. What is happening in there? More kapha, more pitta is happening. Tyakta Vayamam, Asya Sukham, Diva Swapnam. Isn't it? More kapha vartaka factors, more medo vartaka factors are the causes for Avaranajanya Prameha. Regarding the Samprapti of Madhumeha, because of the Dadusheja factors or nidana, there will be vada kopa there. Because of the increase in the ruksha guna of vada, what will happen? Madhura rasa ojas will turn to kashaya rasa and then excreted through basti. But in avarana janya madhumeha, what is happening? There the nidana is kapha pitta kopa, isn't it? So because of that kapha pitta kopa, because of mamsa medo vriddhi, there is the obstruction in the gadi of vada, and thus ojas is carried to basti and eliminated. Regarding the lakshana, Kashaya, Madhura, Pandu, Ruksha, Mutra is seen in Dadushaya. But in Avarana, we can see the lakshanas of all the tridoshas in the Vriddhi and Shaya manner. Very interesting, isn't it? How can you come to a conclusion there? Upashaya. In Dadushaja, it's very clearly Vada Upashaya will bring the relief. Vada Anupashaya will aggravate. But regarding Avarana, if you choose Vada Upashaya, it may bring relief, but at the same time, it may aggravate also. In Vada Anupashaya, it may aggravate, but at the same time, if you're choosing Vada Anupashaya, for our surprise, it may relieve the condition also. It may give relief to the symptoms. And regarding the chigilsa, in Dadushaya, Brahmana Aushada, Brahmana Ahara, all the medicines which are Amedo Mutrala. It should not increase the Medo Dadu, but at the same time should be Mutrala also. Such line of management is adopted in Dadushaya. But in Avarana, Tikshna Virejana is mentioned. Shodhana procedures is mentioned. Because of what? Why Tikshna Virejana? Pramaharogi is Durvireja, isn't it? Why? Because of Medo Bahalatvat, isn't it? Lots of Medos and Mamsa is getting more Vriddhi there, and that is why Tikshna Virejana is adopted in Avaranajanya Madhumeha. I hope it is clear. Then in some other diseases also, we can see Avarana. I choose some of the few diseases like Urustamba, Vadashonida, Udavarta, etc. Why? Because these are the diseases mentioned in the Chigilsa. While explaining Medasavrita Vada, Acharya has called it as what? Atyavada. While explaining Rektavrita Vada, Acharya has advised to choose which chikilsa? Vata Shonita chikilsa. So we can come to a conclusion that in these diseases there will be avarana. That is why Acharya has advised to choose those chikilsa siddhantas. In the case of Shwasa, you can see in Shwasa, Shwasa is a pranavaha srodho dushti vikara, isn't it? So the features like Krichra Uchvasa Unmesh, Uchvasa Nishvasa is seen, isn't it? And that same feature is seen in Kaphavrita Prana also. And so, what should be the line of management? Vada Kapha Hara treatment, Pitta Anubandha Vada Kapha, Pitta Shamana Chikilsa. Okay. Now in Urusamba, what is happening? There is obstruction to the gadi of Vata by Ama, Medas and Kapha. The same Lakshanas are seen in Medasavarda Vada also. And that is why Acharya has told us to choose not Shodhana but Ruksha Svedana, Langhana, Ruksha Udvartanam, Ruksha Vyayamam Vyavayam, etc. Why? To decrease the vitiated Medas. Coming to Vada Shonida, what is happening in Vada Shonida? Kupita Vada is meeting Kupita Rekta. When both meets together, a further whole new vitiation of Rekta is happening, nothing but Vada Shonida. And the same features are seen in Rekta Vrda Vada also. That is why Vada Rekta Chigilsa is adopted like Rekta Mokshanam, Sneha Vitejanam, Shira Basti. See, Sneha Virejana. Okay, it is not to provocate the Vata. And Shira Vasti with the Madhyashti Taila. Okay. And what is happening in Udavarta? Obstruction to the Vada or upward Gati is happening. That is normal. Vada is having Anulomana property, isn't it? Normal Anulomana property is not happening there. That is obstruction to Vada by Vit or by 13 Vegas is nothing but Udavarta. And so what should be the line of management? Anulomana. Go with Gomutra Haridigi. Again you see air and Taila is explained here. Udavarta Vada is having the same Lakshanas like Vachasavarta Vada also. This is just the correlation where Avarna Lakshanas are seen in our classical diseases. Okay. Now I took one modern disease to explain the Avarna. That is nothing but Parkinson's disease. You can get a question in your final year, isn't it? Parkinson's disease. See, certain symptoms, we can come to an Ayurvedic terminology like tremor, kampa or vepatu. That is why majority in the try to correlate Parkinson's as kamba vada or vepatu. Okay, because of their main feature is tremor. But apart from tremor, the classical triad of symptom is tremor, rigidity and bradykinesis, isn't it? The other features like stambha is seen in kaphavrta vyana. Gadi sangha, kapha, again kaphavrta vyana. Skalanam gadau. Skalanam gadau means the patient trembles while walking. That is Festinine gait. Loss of postural reflexes. That is again seen in Kaphavrta Vyana. Dysphasia, Vagraha, Swaragraha, seen in Kaphavrta Udana Vyana. Vinamana, stooped posture, seen in Majjavrta Vyana. See, all this, why I took this is that just to show that how Avarana is happening in the neurodegenerative diseases. I told you to give more importance to Udana, Vyana and Prana here, isn't it? Okay. Now, some of the previous questions regarding Avarna. That's all about Avarna. Some of the questions were this: describe Avarna with examples. That's for 10 marks. If you get such a question, how will you write? Write a short note on Avarna, 5 marks. Chigilsa Sutra alone. See, Chigilsa Sutra alone for both for 5 marks and 2 marks. Difference between Avarna and Anyoni Avarna. By this presentation, I hope you could have understood it. Explain Lina Dosha. I'll come to that. Now, this is the answer key. If you are getting a question for 20 or 10 marks, you have to write all the whatever I have described it in a concise manner. Start from the Nirukti, synonyms and definition. It should not exceed 1 paragraph. Okay, just limit to the key points alone. Then mention the types. While writing the types, as I have shown in the pictorial representation, follow that pattern because it saves time. You will not miss out anything also. Then explain what is Avaraga and what is Avrta. No need to mention. If you forgot the sloka, never mind. Just write for Avaraga, Swakarma Vriddhi happens. At least you can remember that, isn't it? For Avrta, what is happening? Swakarma Hani. Write that. Then few lakshanas, if possible. I'm not compelling you to study the lakshanas, but if you want to study the Dadu Avrta lakshanas. Okay. And a possible correlation plus the Chikilsa. Okay. Then Chikilsa Sutra, very, very important, and give your own explanation, give your inputs there. Then explain the importance of Rasayana Chikilsa, explain air and Taila. One point I missed is importance of Lashuna. Lashuna in Vadarakta Adhyaya, it is said that apart from Pitta and Rekta, the condition in all other cases, Lashuna is a good choice of medicine. Okay. And after that, the seventh point is write all the other chikitsa principles, because you may not get a time or space to write all the lakshanas of the avarna along with its chikitsa. So you can club together under the seventh point, that is other principles like kaphavardavada chikitsa, pittavardavada chikitsa, appanavardavada chikitsa, etc. And then avarna in diseases. If you based on the time, if you are writing up to 7 point, and if there is still time, you can write in detail how avarna is happening in madhumeha, shwasa, everything, etc. Or else just come to the lakshana chikitsa part, focus on the lakshana and the chikitsa, and upadrava and asadhya, that's it. Now if it is for 5 marks, just skip out the other chikitsa principles, okay, and the modern correlation and all. No need to mention all that. It's only for 5 marks, isn't it? And if it is for 3 or 2 marks, what is the question? Focus only on the question. And if you're even if you are focusing on the question alone, do not skip the Chikitsa Sutra as well as importance of Rasayana. Is it clear? Okay. Now there was the question: what is Lina Dosha? Isn't it? Lina dosha is just for 3 marks only. So Lina midi anutklishta. Anutklishta means what? That which is not exhibiting its symptoms. Lina asamyak darshana. That which is hiding somewhere. Asamyak. We cannot see the Lina dosha. It's hiding somewhere, isn't it? Leenatva ekadesha sthitatva. It is residing in ekadesha, one place. This is the definition of Leena dosha. But a much more descriptive explanation is given in Ashtangridayam Doshadivijnanya. That is, Sarvadeha pravisradan saman doshan na nirharet. When the sama dosha is spreading, Sarvadeha, you should not do na nirharet. You should not forcefully expel it out. Why? Because Leenan Dadushu Anutklishtan. The Leena doshas are residing in the Dadus in the Anutklishta manner. That is the, you saw in the bottom line, I have explained, written the commentary. Leenan means, the term Leenan means Slishtan. Anutklishtan means Swasthanat. In the Swasthana, it is remaining in a hidden manner. Chalidan na nirharit. And therefore, Vamanadipir na shodat. You should not choose Shodhana procedures. Because, why? Because Paladamad rasaniva. Just like you try to squeeze out the juice from an unripe mango fruit, asrayasya hinasha. It will destroy the asraya. Te sur dur nirharatva. It is very difficult to treat. You should not do Shodhana there. Okay? Then what should be done? What can be done to remove the Leena dosha? That is explained as Pajaner Deepaner. First choose Pajana Deepana measures, then Snehistan Svedesha, then Snehana Svedana, finally Shodhana, depending upon the Kala and depending upon the Bela of the person. According to Charagacharya, Leenam Pakvashestam Vapyamam. If the Leena dosha is in the Pakvasha along with Ama, Sravyam Sadipani. First choose Deepana measures, followed by, because Sharira Anugate, it is spreaded in whole through the body and is in the form of Samarasa, and therefore Lankana Pajana must be the measures taken initially. Okay. So the Leena dosha is a small topic. Only write what is Leena dosha, what is actually Leena dosha, and what is Slishta, then the Chikitsa Sutra. Okay. Now, this is not for your examination purpose, but just for your understanding only, the difference between Sangha and Avarna. You just hear, this is not for your exam. Don't write it in your examination also. Just only for your understanding. Sangha, what is Sangha? Sangha is one among the Srodho Dushti Lakshana, isn't it? Sangam Vimargamanam, etc. But Avarna is dosha or dushya covering other, and that can lead to karma hani of avrata. In Sangha, the dosha or dusha is retained inside the srotas. Regarding the lakshana, where there is obstruction, there will be the increase in symptoms. But in avarana, for avrata, what will happen? Swakarma hani. And for avaraga, what will happen? Swakarma vritti. Regarding the chikitsa, for Sangha, we can choose Deepana Pajana and Srodho Shodhana measures. But for Avarna, all the Avarna chikitsa that I have explained till now should be selected. Now again a difference between Gadavada and Avarna. Just you may get confused only for your understanding. Okay, this is not at all for your examination purpose. Don't bother so much about this area. Okay, Gadavada is nothing but Gadavada is explained in Vadavyadi, isn't it? Nidana is Abadarpana, but in Avarna the Nidana is Sandarpana. And their Lakshana is mainly Vadika Lakshanas are seen. Their Lekhu, Ruksha, Shida, Guna Vriddhi is happening. But in Avarna, the Lakshana is mainly because of the Chalaguna Shaya. Avarna, depending upon the Avaraga strength, specific symptoms will be seen. And for the Gata Vada, the Chikilsa is nothing but Vada Vyadi Chikilsa. But for Avarna, Avarna Chikilsa. You can correlate Gata Vada more or less to a degenerative condition, but Avarna is a metabolic disorder. So thus, I come to the end of my topic. Avarna, hope you did you understand at least something? Are you able to write your examination? Thank you, scholars. Now you can ask your doubts. Hello? Did everyone fell asleep? Scholars, there's no doubts.
No, ma'am. Thank you.
Can you write the exam confidently if you get a question on Avarna?
Yes, ma'am.
Anywhere you doubt, there is doubt?
No, ma'am. No doubt.
How about Vibhuti? Just focus more on the Chigilsa part as well as the this clinical approach to Avarna. Okay, all other parts are important, but not as much important as the Chigilsa and clinical aspects. Okay, and then again, importance of air endothelium is important. Have you gone through the notes before entering the class? Naomi? Yeah, I know only Naomi's name. That's why I'm calling you. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Uh-huh. How is your studies going on? Have you studied Avarna before?
No, ma'am. I'm first year and classes are started
You
now
just start.
only.
No, I could not hear you, Naomi. What were you saying?
Hello, ma'am. I'm
Hello?
first year
Okay, first year.
and okay, classes are now only started
Okay,
because of
fine, fine.
COVID issue.
Okay, okay. See, your PG, isn't it? So, while writing the answers, apart from writing the basics, you have to put your own ideas also. Only that is the difference in UG and PG paper. Okay,
Okay,
especially
ma'am.
coming to the Chigilsa Sutra. And regarding for each and every term, every slokas, rather than writing the direct meaning of the slokas, you have to give your own explanations also, isn't it? Okay.
Okay,
Then
ma'am.
Dr. Christie, shall we wind up the session?
yeah, sure. If the scholars have no doubts, we can wind up the session.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Christie. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Is it Naomi or Anjana?
Anjana.
Okay, Anjana. Okay.
Okay.